The NFL Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win now. Sign up today, bet 100 and get $100 free bet at thesportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's thesportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. And welcome everybody back to the NFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Wednesday, January the 4th, 2023. It is a new year. Same crew here, and he is back better than ever. He's healthy, ready to preview week number 18. First, I am Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac, and I am joined by my co-host. He's back, J Mark Football, old-fashioned. What's going on, man? How's the new year treating you?
Well, it's nice to be healthy again. That flu kicked my ass, and it's nice to be back here. We haven't done one of these since last year. My wife is so sick of those jokes.
Yeah, I know she is. I listened to the old-fashioned football the other day. I was laughing. And, I'm going to blame you for Washington's collapse down the stretch. I think the last one we did, we previewed San Francisco. That feels like forever ago. They haven't won since. They're out of playoff contention, although Ron Rivera doesn't seem to know that. So he's trying to play around with the ESPN NFL playoff machine, I guess.
Unbelievable that he didn't know that. But, you should be thanking me. We knocked Carson Wentz out. We gave you guys the win. We turned your season around for a while. So you got to thank all the Bears fans.
Yeah, no, you did turn around our season on that Thursday night. Although the other side of it is you turned around the Packers season as well, unfortunately. And I know this is making you sick that somehow, some way, they were 4-8. Where was that game? That game was in Chicago. You held the lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You were knocking on the door. You were going to end Rodgers' career, end his tenure in Green Bay, end the season. You were going to be even in the standings with them. They come back. They even cover. They had no business covering the game.
No, sickening.
And now they control their own destiny against the Lions of all team at Lambeau Field Sunday night.
We already talked about this pre-show, but Lions are going to win, and I'm going to just continue to say that, hoping that I can manifest it into happening, because I do not want to see Rodgers get in the playoffs again, unless they win the Super Bowl and he retires. Then I guess I will accept it.
That would be the ultimate, I guess, consolation prize. You know, the Packers won again, but Aaron Rodgers is no longer in the NFL or a Green Bay Packer. Rewinding, though, to Week 17, anything you want to touch on before we transition into Week 18? Obviously, we do the early morning slate, J Mark and I, and then who is it? Moonoff and Scott will do the afternoon and Sunday night, and I believe Scott and Terrell will do the Saturday game. So make sure you have your notifications on so you can get all the content you need for this week number 18.
Yeah, and just real quick, I know we've all seen it, talked about it and everything, but the injury in Cincinnati kind of clouding everything last week to end the week like that. And really, when looking at these games, kind of made it difficult to handicap both the Bills and the Bengals games, because that was just such a shakeup. It's not just a normal injury. Obviously, a young man's fighting for his life. So just sending all the prayers, good vibes, thoughts, whatever everybody believes in. Make sure you're sending all those, and hopefully he can pull through and have a normal life after that, because that was just scary to watch. I think all of us that were watching, it was just a freak thing to see.
No doubt. And I mean, some things are bigger than football. I know we love football here. This is the NFL Gambling Podcast, but sometimes something like that, you just need it makes you step back a little bit, be thankful for what you have.
For sure.
Just count your blessings. And, we're all pulling for Damar Hamlin to pull through. It does sound like we are going to get some good news here, that he's going to make it from a life standpoint. Obviously, he's not going to play football again. I don't think so. But It's just important that he's able to get through this and have a normal life, like you said, have a family. That's all anybody can ask for.
Absolutely agreed.
And you do mention it from the football side of things. Like I was typing up the games that we'll touch on and going through it, and I got the last two games are the Bengals and against the Ravens and the Bills against the Patriots. And I mean, I'd be lying to you if I had any idea where either team is mentally right now, or even their opponents. I think a lot of teams are a lot. I know it wasn't one of their teammates, but I mean, these guys talked. A lot of these guys played college ball with one another or mutual friends growing up. So I think it's an interesting time in the NFL whenever something like this chaos, not chaos, but tragedy happens.
Yeah, I agree because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a violent game. They
Yeah,
know that injuries are expected, but an injury of this magnitude or something of this magnitude, nobody ever expects. So I'm sure it has to shake up a lot of the players playing this game because you could tear your ACL or even we've seen
yeah,
scary injuries with spinal cord type stuff, but for something like that, the heart issue from the hit, we don't have a lot of details about it. Like you don't expect that. I remember years and years ago, a high school kid just stayed over in Omaha, Nebraska. The same thing happened. He got hit. They said it just hit his heart at just the right time, and he went into
yeah.
cardiac arrest. So it's just you don't expect it to happen. It is crazy, and I'm sure it has shaken a lot of them mentally.
Yeah, no, you mentioned it like with football, like you know what you're signing up for in terms of it is a violent game. What happened on Monday night was not a violent hit. That was just a freak
Yeah.
accident and freak situation. And like you said, you never think about the heart. I mean, you think about concussion, CTE, and all stuff like that. But yeah, you don't ever think of the heart or potentially collapsing and fighting for your life in the middle of an NFL or a college football game.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, thoughts and prayers with all the Buffalo Bills and his family as well. So pulling for you to pull through, brother. And yeah, that's from SGP. We're pulling for your thoughts and prayers. So we'll transition now into week number 18. If you're looking for a place to get some action in this weekend, I got the perfect place for you. That's at WinBet. WinBet is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WinBet is active in a bunch of states, and there are tons of ways to win, including live betting and same game parlays. Reduced juice and sides and totals for all bowl games day of. Great promos, odds, and payouts are happening right now at WinBet. Ready to play? Sign up today. Special offer: Bet 100, win 100. Limited state availability. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet so that they know that we sent you. That's the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. And of course, offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older. Present in the state through WinBet is available. If you or someone has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-522-4700. We are also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, the season never ends. Right now, you can play weekly battle royale games or even draft your playoff best ball team. They also have a ton of daily games for NBA and NHL. Plus, when you use the promo code SGPN at UnderdogFantasy.com, you get a 100% deposit match up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. All right, man. For the final time in the regular season, we will dive into the early morning slate, and we're going to kick it off. We talk about how the Packers have a scenario of making the playoffs, how improbable that is. The Pittsburgh Steelers were 2-6 at one time. They have a realistic playoff scenario here where Cleveland's going to a Heinz Field or whatever you call it nowadays. We call it Heinz Field on the NFL Gambling Podcast. Shout out to Ketchup. Steelers laying 2.5, over under 40.5. Mike Tomlin, all he needs is a win or tie to extend the improbable streak.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, really. Their turnaround, especially with, they opened the season with Mitch Trubisky did not look good. Kenny Pickett came in, did not look good, but they've stuck around, and that's, I mean, you come to expect it of Mike Tomlin, right? That 2-6 just didn't seem very Tomlin-esque. And we kept talking each week that we thought they might turn it around. Can Tomlin do it? And here he is with a chance to win. Needs a little bit of help, obviously. So I know they need to win, and they need the Dolphins and the Patriots to lose. So they need a little bit of help. But
Yeah.
Browns have not been good, especially with Watson. Watson has been bad against everybody except your Commanders. Sorry.
I was about to say, all of a sudden Watson's back to being a pre-massage Deshaun Watson.
Exactly. But so, I'm going to ride with Tomlin here. The Steelers have been on that hot streak. I think he's going to at least take care of their part of grabbing that 7th seed. Now, obviously, they can't control what the other teams do, but I think Tomlin's going to have this team focused, take care of their part. Still might not get it, but at least they'll be in a position to win. And yeah, I like the Steelers to win and cover in this game. I don't think the Browns are good, and I think that Steelers defense, I think it's pretty good, and I think they're going to frustrate Watson. He's not been good against those defenses that have been getting pressure, except the Commanders. So I'm gonna ride with the Steelers here. How about you?
Oh, the Browns are the best team in the NFL. I just watched it last week.
Exactly.
I'm with you. The Steelers are going to win this game. I could see them winning on like a crazy walk-off field goal. It'll be some Tomlin heroic ending where Kenny Pickett throws a ball, bounces off 2 defenders. Somehow they catch it and win it in field goal. Win it on a field goal. I mean, you look at what the Steelers have done. It's been magic these last 2 weeks. They had no business winning either the Baltimore or Vegas game. Go even further back. I mean, it started at Carolina the week before that. They got a 3-point win over Atlanta before that, and then they snuck by Indianapolis when they were 2-6 to really get this thing going. I'm with you. I'll take the Steelers. I could see this game ending in a tie, to be honest. Somehow it ends or it extends Tomlin's streak because he doesn't lose. The Browns and Steelers have tied in the past. I believe it was 2018. So maybe I'll look at a crazy juiced outcome to end in a tie. We've seen week 18 ties scenarios before. Remember last year with the Chargers, who was it? Chargers Raiders last game of the year, where if it was a tie, then the Steelers would have missed the playoffs, and they were going to tie. And then Staley decided to use his timeouts, and then Vegas just ended up winning on a field goal. So I'm with you. I'll lean to the Steelers.
Yeah, that's if you can find it on a book for the tie, that's got to be at least 20-1 odds.
At least. And you know what? Yeah. This is the Tomlin special parlay that I'll give out right now. I need to find the odds so I can tweet it out on Sunday. Take the Steelers and Browns to tie. So the Steelers finish 8-1. Take the Jets on the money line over the Dolphins. Take the Bills on the money line over the Patriots. That gets Pittsburgh into the playoffs at 8-1 for the most improbable Mike Tomlin playoff backdoor entrance. And he extends his non-losing seasons.
I like it.
Let's go. Only at the NFL Gambling Podcast can you find that kind of parlay.
That's right.
Let's move along. Oh, yeah, here we go. Minnesota Vikings -7.5 at the greatest 3-13 NFL team of all time. I thought that was a typo when I saw that today, that they were 3-13. Over-unders 43.5. J-Mark, what do you think? You think the Bears finish strong, or they give me your handicap on this, because how long are they going to play Fields the entire game?
They're not going to play him at all. They've announced just a little bit ago that he will sit to rest his hip. I'm kind of disappointed in that. He's 64 yards away from breaking the quarterback rushing record. So disappointing for him, because that would have been at least something that he could kind of hang his hat on this year, because he has played very well, especially around mid-season to second half. He really kind of took a next step forward. I hate when teams tank. I got to wonder if the fact that they could get the top draft pick if they lose and the Texans win has something to do with that, and that's why they're rolling Nathan Peterman out. And Vikings are still going to play their starters, they say, at least for the first half, I'm sure. So
yeah,
with all that and how bad the Bears have been, you got to think that the Lions win over them kind of took everything out of their sails. That was just a beat down. Time to look forward for the Bears. Look forward to next year. So I'm gonna take the Vikings 7.5 here. How about you?
Yeah, you know what? We're not even going to do the rest of the games. We're just going to talk NFL draft. So sorry to the audience, because the NFL doesn't playoffs don't matter to either of us with our teams out. Just kidding.
That's right.
I'll go Bears. And the reason why the Vikings have not won by more than one possession since week number 1 against the Packers. The games, it's going to be cold in Chicago, windy. I think it's a conservative game plan. I'll take the Vikings to win by 6. I think it's an ugly game, and Minnesota just wants to get in there, get out, so that they no injuries and move on, because San Francisco is not going to lose in the late window. I mean, they're laying 14, like Nick Fortune said. How about those Niners? Yeah, how about those Niners? They're laying 14 to clinch the 2 seed, or if the Eagles lay an egg again, they could get all the way up to the 1 seed, but the Vikings, no, they're going to be the 3 seed. They're going to play the New York Giants in the ugliest playoff game of all time. I'm not bitter or anything.
Right. Between two teams that we have said most of the year that they're just not good. They're not what their record reflects. They're not good, and so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, no, the 2 games where the team lost by a field goal. So I'm not bitter or anything about it. But yeah, congrats to the Giants. In all honesty, an overachieving year number 1 for Brian Daboll.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, they both did a good job coaching. They got the most out of their team, more than we kind of expected them to. Now, I thought the Vikings would win the division. I did not think that they would win as many games as they won, though.
Or in the way that they won them with all these. I just read off the stat. They're 11-0 in single digit or 1 possession games. That's unheard of. So Write this down. The Vikings will be the prime candidate next year to fade, because that is going to even out.
Yeah. It's the Bears division next year.
Exactly. Rodgers is going to win the Super Bowl, retire. Then it's going to be the Bears for the next 20 years. You heard it first here on the NFL Gambling Podcast.
That's right.
Let's move along. This game is something, because Tampa Bay somehow won the NFC South over my Carolina Panthers. Man, I thought we were going to cash that mid-season Carolina Panthers NFC South ticket that we gave out. What was it? It was like 12-1 when we gave it out.
Yeah.
So I thought we were going to hit that, and unfortunately not. Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. Found a way to get it done. They might want to cover Mike Evans next year when they play them. He's only streaking down the sideline 3 straight times.
Yeah.
They're going to Atlanta. It sounds like Brady's going to play a little bit. I'm anticipating first half. Obviously, Atlanta or Tampa Bay is locked into the 4th seed in the NFC. Most likely going to play Dallas, and probably the highest rated NFL playoff game in the first round in history with Dallas and Tom Brady. So where do you go here? You back the Falcons here for pride's sake?
So yeah, I'm with you. I wanted the Bucs to lose last week because it would have set up a great game between Panthers and Saints.
No,
but this line reflects it. Vegas doesn't think Brady's going to play long. I think it's reflecting they don't think the starters will play long. As much as I think, Falcons are a decent team that can beat backups, I don't know if I trust them laying 4 points against anybody. We've said it all year that we liked betting them when they were dogs, but we did not like betting them when they were favorites. And that's the same here, even if they are against backups. So I just can't trust the Falcons. I haven't seen enough out of Desmond Ridder yet. So I see him winning by like 3 maybe, but I don't see him covering the 4 points. So I'm going to take the Bucs +4. How about you?
It's crazy, man. Looking at the Atlanta Falcons, they couldn't cover last week against David Blow.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, I thought this was a great spot for the Falcons. They are 8-8 against the spread this year, so this is a pivotal game. Just kidding. And they once were what against the spread? They started the year 6-0, so they have not been covering. But Tampa's really bad other than Tom Brady, so I'll take Atlanta just because outside of Tom Brady, this is a bad team. They have Brady. That's why they're in the playoffs. And when this is a revenge spot too, because Do you remember when these two teams played in Week 5 when Atlanta lost a heartbreaker to them when they called the ridiculous
Yeah.
roughing the passer call? So I think they want to come out and stick it to Tampa Bay a little bit.
Yeah, I do remember that. That they should have gotten the ball back there. It was ridiculous. But who is Brady's backup? It's the great Blaine Gabbert, is it not?
Is it Blaine Gabbert or is it Kyle Trask?
Oh, I can't. It's one of them. I know they have both of them on roster. I guess I don't know which one they would start. You would think they'd start Trask to see what they have in them since the season's over, um, but yeah, I'm going to ride with the Bucks here, though. I think they'll cover. I don't think they'll win, but I do think they at least cover this.
Yeah, and I'm pulling it up. They're saying Kyle Trask will be active on Sunday, although Gabbert will be the backup. But I mean, I could see them going to Trask though.
Yeah, they might as well.
I would. Yeah, the game doesn't mean anything, so we're on different sides. But if you want to bet this, you need to call that number 1-800-522-4700 because it's hard to handicap these games, man.
Yeah, the American hero Blaine Gabbert, Nick Fortune says, and we agree. This week is tough to bet on.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's move along in the slate. This is probably the game of the early slate in terms of importance. New York Jets eliminated last week. The Mike White show came to a screeching halt in Seattle. They are laying 1 in Miami. Sounds like Teddy's not going to be able to go. So we are going to get the Skylar Thompson era. And these two teams met earlier in the year. Thompson did relieve Teddy Bridgewater, I believe. I know Tua was out for that game as well. Do the Dolphins lose 6 in a row to end 8-9 here?
Yeah, you would think this would be a good game because the Dolphins need the win so badly, but Tua out, Bridgewater out. We got Thompson with backup Mike Glennon. And I love how the Jets are like, we're sticking with Zach Wilson, hell or high water. It's like, well, that is not true because you already sat him once. So you're not sticking with him. You're just going back to him, hoping it does something. But yeah, both these teams are rolling out quarterbacks that have not looked the best. I mean, Thompson doesn't have much experience. Zach Wilson has not looked good, but this Jets defense is very good. We talked about it multiple times this year about how good this defense is and how impressive they've been. We didn't expect much of anything out of the Jets, but I don't think either one of us expected the defense to be this good. So I think they're going to make it tough on Thompson, and I think Zach Wilson's probably looking to redeem himself. So I'm going to take the Jets here. How about you?
They just announced that Mike White's starting.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they not just yesterday, I think, said that Zach Wilson, yeah.
Well, it's like what Ron said earlier. He goes, yeah, we're going to start Heineke. Then a couple hours later, all right, we'll start Sam Howell. I'm like, what? Make a decision. He finally found out he's mathematically eliminated. So he's going to start Howell instead of Heineke.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What a mess.
He still didn't believe it. Are you sure?
Yeah. Thank God they're not on this slate. I don't need to handicap a game where the Cowboys are going to kill us. Promo code Dallas sucks still.
That's right.
Anyway, yeah, no, I'm going to go with the Jets here, man. I think they are going to enjoy playing spoiler here. The Dolphins and Jets, they don't like each other over the years. We saw it last time they played up in New York without Tua Tagovailoa. Is that this Dolphins team just struggles, and I think that Mike McDaniel lost his locker room a little bit. This is probably the most disappointing team that's going to miss the playoffs in terms of what they have on their roster, and start 8-3. I mean, we were talking about them at the beginning of December as a potential 1 seed. They had the tiebreaker over the Buffalo Bills for the AFC East, and it's like, well, it's going to come down to that game in Buffalo for the division. They just have a 1 cent. They went on that 3-game. Sorry, I can't talk right now. They went on that 3-game road trip and they dropped all 3, and then they come home and lose to Aaron Rodgers on Christmas, and then Tua gets hurt. They go to New England and lose to Matt Patricia and that awful offense, and they can't win. They can't find a way to win a game. They've been so streaky this year. They started 3-0, lose 3 in a row to go to 3-3. Then they win 5 in a row, 8-3. Now they've lost 5 more in a row to get to 8-8. It's been a roller coaster for Mike McDaniel, year number 1. So I'll go Jets here. Robert Saleh, I think he gets those guys up to play.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also wonder if there's kind of some fear for Tua's future because this
Yeah.
is his third concussion this year, I think. And they didn't even know he had the concussion until they were going over plays and he couldn't remember some stuff. So kind of a scary thing there to get that many concussions within 1 year. I'm curious how that plays out going into the future. If he is 100% healthy, if he's going to continue to get concussions and be forced into early retirement. Obviously, hope that doesn't happen, but definitely something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we wish Tua the best. He seems like a very likable guy. Obviously, don't know him personally, but nobody has anything but good things to say about the guy. So wish him the best with his health, and hopefully he can find a way to get back on the football field because this Dolphins team was pretty good when he was healthy.
Yeah, he way better than I expected. I didn't believe in his playing ability. I agree, he's always seemed like a nice guy, but didn't agree in his playing ability, and he really showed that he could. Well, of course, you give him two of the fastest receivers and a good offensive
Yeah, it
line.
does
That
help.
helps a lot. Yeah,
No doubt.
but yeah, he definitely had this team winning, had him believing. So yeah, hopefully, speedy recovery for him.
No doubt. And we'll move along in the slate. And you know what? You don't need to call 1-800-522-4700 for that other game. You need to call it if you want to bet this game. The Houston Texans, here we go, are going to Indianapolis. Jeff Saturday, he has been not good. I think we can put to bed that we can just hire somebody from ESPN, a talk show, to coach the NFL middle of the season, cough, cough, Jim Irsay. And the quarterback carousel continues there. Nick Foles knocked out. They're going to go to Ellinger. All of a sudden, Matt Ryan is back in the backup role. He may play one more time somehow. Man, where are you going here? Give me a handicap. Whatever you do, I'll ride with you because I have no idea.
So if Houston loses, they're guaranteed the number one pick in the draft. But I don't think Lovey is a rollover type of guy. I just don't get that from Lovey Smith. So I think, with both these teams struggling, I'm going to ride with the scenario that helps the Bears the best. And that's the Texans not only covering, but winning the game. So I'm going to take the Texans plus 2.5. And it does have more to do with, I think Lovey wants to go out on a positive note. I think he's a really good coach. I think they have some stuff that they can look forward to, especially with Dameon Pierce, some of the defensive play they've gotten. Had a good quarterback early on in the draft, and this team could turn around quickly. So I think Lovey doesn't want to roll over. He doesn't want to be like, oh, they lost to make sure they get that number one pick. He's going to have this team ready to go, and the Colts have just sucked. So I'm going to ride with Houston here. How about you?
That's a great handicap. The Colts have sucked. I'm with you. I'm going to take the Texans as well. Take it on the money line because they have not quit. I know they got beat last week by Jacksonville, but all of a sudden Jacksonville's a juggernaut.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat Dallas. They beat the Jets on the road. They beat the Titans bad on the road. I mean, they're playing for the division this weekend. And by the way, the Jaguars were one of our teams that we gave out at the midway point as a long shot to win the AFC South. So go Jags, go Dougie P. And the Colts have quit, man. They've completely laid it down against Jeff Saturday. They're an embarrassment, really. I mean, like if you're gonna label a team that has been a total embarrassment in the second half, kind of like the Giants were last year at the end under Joe Judge, I would say that this year's New York Giants under Joe Judge is the Indianapolis Colts with Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, they looked brilliant at first. They won that very first game with him, and then it was just a shit show after that.
Can't even hold a 33-0 lead.
Yeah. Poor Matt Ryan.
I mean, mathematically, it's almost impossible to lose a 33-0 lead or a 36-7 lead with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. That's like if you just run the ball for 2 yards each play, you're going to win. But of course, this is the Indianapolis Colts. This is Matt Ryan. He blew a 28-3 lead too at one time, only in the biggest game.
Yeah. No, I agree. It is a shit show. Curious to see what they do next year, but I think we can guarantee Jeff Saturday will not be back as head coach, correct?
Oh, I if he is, man, take the odds for the Indianapolis Colts to have the first pick in the following draft.
There you go.
And we will move along. And this game, this is another one tough to handicap. All Saints are one in there, are ready just in time to miss the playoffs. So the Saints got it going out of the bye week under Dennis Allen. Carolina heads there. Both teams are playing good football. Both are really good defensively. Over-under is at 41.5. The Saints are laying 3.5. Which team you like here? Dream Crusher, obviously, last week for Carolina, losing to Tampa Bay for the division.
Yeah, we were robbed of this potentially being the best game of the week with Panthers not winning that, because Panthers Saints for the division to get in would have been really good to see. It'll be interesting to see if that kind of defeated their spirits, but I think Sam Darnold wants to prove that he can still be the guy, whether for them or somebody else. You know, after he came back from injury and got the start, he looked pretty good, better than you come to expect out of Sam Darnold. And I think he's going to have a good showing against this better than average Saints defense. I like the Panthers to cover here, and spoiler alert, I like them to win. How about you?
Yeah, no, I think these two teams, it's going to be a defensive game, low scoring. I think neither has quit clearly with the way that they've come on. I mean, New Orleans kind of did this last year too, where they won out and just missed the playoffs. So it's going to be 2 years in a row that they do. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Dennis Allen. Obviously, there's some rumors that Sean Payton may come back to New Orleans if he can lure Tom Brady in. So we'll see what happens if TB12 would make the jump in the NFC South. He's figured it out. All you got to do is win 8 games and you win your division. So
yeah,
it's a favorable division for a soon to be 46-year-old quarterback.
No doubt. And another weird thing here is, why are the Saints, now that they're out, why aren't they handing it back over to Jameis Winston to see if he can show them something? Like, I don't get it. He pissed somebody off, right?
He definitely did. Or that injury is way worse than we think it is. And
I guess, yeah.
You're right, though. The Saints are playing to win. They're playing to win. What they did to Philly was impressive. Running the ball down their throat with Kamara and Taysom Hill. They've been playing good football. I'm going to actually take a stab at the Saints. I think it might have been a dream crusher last week for Carolina. I'll go like a 17-10 type game. Hard, competitive, and I think New Orleans just grinds it out.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it being a dream crusher for them and them coming out playing flat. I could definitely see that.
No doubt. So we are on opposite sides of that one. And now we'll get into this game. And this is where it gets hard. Baltimore's going to Cincinnati. Obviously, Cincinnati coming off the suspended game. I guess they are by default the AFC North champions at 11-4. They had been playing unbelievable football before, obviously Monday night, where the game got postponed. Baltimore, man, they've been up and down. There's no other way to handicap Baltimore. All they do is blow double-digit leads, including against their rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Sunday night. Have you heard anything on Lamar this week? It sounds like they're going to hold him off to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I've picked up too, that he won't be playing. And this game and the Bills game that we're going to talk about, like we said, who knows where these guys are mentally after being on the field, seeing what they saw, kind of just living through that firsthand experience. Who knows where they're at mentally? But in this Ravens team, they've been up and down. The run game sucked aside from Lamar. Dobbins and Edwards both come back and have kind of picked that up. But this Bengals team has been a very good team, especially down the stretch. I think they're going to come out focused. I don't like this line because I can see it ending in a push. I could see Ravens coming back, getting a last-minute touchdown to lose by 7. But I'm going to ride with the Bengals here. I am nervous for the push, but I'm gonna ride with them. How about you?
I like the Bengals as well. I'm with you here. It's my handicap is Huntley. He's okay, but they don't win or cover with him. He doesn't look bad, but they just don't. In the end, the scoreboard doesn't reflect that. So I'm gonna fade Huntley here and just back Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and that whole team. I think. They're still playing for something. They're still playing for the 2 seed with the Bills, and obviously we don't know if that game on Monday night's gonna be played, if they're going to move the playoffs back. So stay tuned, obviously, for updates. So I'll go Bengals here. You said Bengals, right?
I did, yeah. Yep. And I agree with you. Last year we saw Huntley come in for Lamar against the Packers. He had one really good game, and it was against the Packers. And I remember watching that thinking his running ability
Yeah.
was almost Lamar-esque. He's not shown
He's
really
gotten any
any of that
better.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely regressed heavily over the
Yeah.
last year. And I heard some people say that they could see him as a starter in this league, and I'm like, what are you watching? I don't
Yeah.
see it.
No, I don't either. And speaking of that postponed game, I know this is a gambling show, but I've been fielding a ton of questions from people of what do I do
Yeah,
in
same.
fantasy football? Because that was the championship in most leagues. I encourage every commissioner to just wait and see what they officially decide, and then go from there. Then talk with your league about it. I know some have already called it and said that's that and paid out. I would encourage people to wait, see what they decide to do.
Yeah, because they still might play it. I mean, the NFL,
Yeah.
even in the COVID year, they got all 256 games in that were scheduled
Yep.
that year. If the NFL can find a way to get every single game for that dollar, I mean, we saw they
Yeah.
tried to play the game right after what happened on Monday night. I
Yeah.
know they're denying it, but we all saw it. They
Yeah.
gave the 5-minute warning, which is I to keep it simple, that was the wrong decision. So
Yeah, for sure.
we'll that was a bad look on the NFL's part, but we know what the NFL's about. They want to make money. It's a 365 day a year sport. They are going to
Yeah.
find a way to play this game, I think.
Agreed. And maybe like the COVID year, we'll have a football game on Wednesday at 3 in the afternoon. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Well, they could also just move this playoffs back a week where
Yeah.
everybody gets basically a bye, and then if you're the Chiefs, you get a double, or whoever gets a double bye. And then, I mean, nobody watches a Pro Bowl anyway.
Agreed. Yeah. And I'm sure there are a lot of couples, anyways, or females with hopeful Valentine's Day plans that would be happy because as of right now, the Super Bowl is supposed to be the day before Valentine's Day. So I'm sure a lot of people would be happy if they weren't in contention with the Super Bowl.
Indeed. Yes, no doubt there. Not us, though. We would never think about the Super Bowl over.
That's right.
So let's move along. And this is the final game of the early slate. And this really is an interesting game because New England, from a football standpoint, obviously Buffalo going through the tough times, but New England somehow, some way, 8-8, as bad as they are offensively under Matt Patricia, Mac Jones, they control their destiny. If they beat Buffalo, they're going to the playoffs. They don't need anything else. The other scenario, obviously, they lose and then they get everybody else to lose, but most likely not going to happen. New England's got to win this game. This is going to be a playoff game for them. Buffalo, we already touched on it. We don't know where they're at mentally to play a game like this. Well, do you lean Buffalo here, or do you lean the points at the Patriots?
Yeah, this one is tough, but just with all the outside factors, it's going to be 33 degrees, no precipitation, but a colder game. I think this is going to stay close. I think it's going to be a little bit slower paced. I think the Bills are going to be slower paced. Of course, you see situations where a team comes out and wants to win for their teammate that was just injured, but we've said it several times now. This wasn't just a normal injury. So I think they're going to come out a little bit flat, and I think that they probably will win this game. But I do think the Patriots cover, especially with the 7.5 here. You're looking at, I'm saying, a 7-point game. So I'm going to take the Patriots. How about you?
Yeah, and honestly, like it's messed up, but I think you think about taking the Patriots money line, to be honest, because this is a do or die game for Belichick. He's not going to leave anything behind. I mean, all the tricks, fake punch, double reverses, Philly special, whatever he's got blitz wise for Josh Allen, he's saving up. This is a throw the kitchen sink kind of game. So I like New England. I do. And I think they might win this game outright because I just don't know where Buffalo is mentally. The only scenario that I can really think of where you've lost a teammate is growing up a Redskins fan with Sean Taylor when they lost him in the middle of the week, and they came out flat as well that game and lost to the Bills, ironically. And it's tough. I mean, you're not thinking of football. You're not thinking of the Patriots. And the Patriots are laser focused with Bill Belichick. So I love the Patriots here from a gambling standpoint. I kind of like the Bills to go on a run and win the Super Bowl as well. But I mean, this is like one of those stories where hopefully, like you said, we think we're getting some good news, and he gets through it, and then they just go on a run and win it for their teammates. So don't like him Sunday, but like him in the future.
I know we're not talking futures here, but I agree with Bill's Super Bowl run. NFC, you think the Eagles or the 49ers will make it? Which Niners?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an Eagles hater, but all bias aside, I think San Fran is the best team. They've been the best team for about 2 months. But they will have to go to Philadelphia. Well, they'll have to get through the Cowboys first too, potentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Purdy is still rookie.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's the Niners as well, mainly because I have 2 future bets. One, the name the finalist bets you can find. I've got Bills versus Niners, and then I have a Bengals versus Niners. So if Niners make it in one of those 2, I'm happy.
Yeah, so basically you're just rooting against the Chiefs.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes. I think another team, I mean, like you said, we're not doing futures, is a team that's kind of flying under the radar is the LA Chargers in the AFC.
Yeah, true.
They're playing good football, and they got healthy.
Yep, absolutely. And when they are healthy, they have one of the better running backs with Eckler. They have multiple receiving weapons. Their defense is good. So, yeah, I like that too. Not for my bets, but I do like it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And do you have a sleeper in the NFC if you had to pick one? Bears?
Yeah, the Bears, not the fucking Packers.
I set
Anybody
you up.
but them,
I was like,
please.
if you had to go sleeper, they are the team. They have the best quarterback.
Yeah. If Seattle, Tampa, if Seattle makes the playoffs, that team's just overperformed everything. I feel like this year, nobody expected them to have the year they had, especially after the trade with Russell Wilson. So, and Pete Carroll, he's a good coach. Seattle, I mean, Gino's got that team believing, so why not,
Yeah, basically anybody but the Packers.
Right. The Lions, no.
I mean, if the Lions somehow got in, that means they beat the Packers in Lambeau. That is a win that could propel you to go on a run. Unfortunately, Dallas's roster's as good as anybody's. If Dak just doesn't throw interceptions, but this is the Cowboys, so they're going to choke. They always do. Shout out to all you Cowboys fans listening. You're going to choke. So, and I'm going to laugh when you choke. So, we're not bitter or anything here on the NFL Gambling Podcast, Jay Mark and I.
One thing that may be better than Rodgers winning and retiring is Rodgers making the NFC Championship and losing again. That might just I love when because he does it almost. He was consecutive a lot of years there, making the NFC Championship, choking and losing. So if that would happen, I might be okay with that too.
Yeah, no, as long as he doesn't win it, man. I swear. I'm gonna have to check on you, get you some therapy if he goes on and wins the Super Bowl.
That's right.
And comes back.
Right.
Well, let's wrap this show up with our lock, dog, and tease for the week number 18, the final regular season edition.
Yeah, so for my lock, I'm going to lock the Steelers up. I think Tomlin's going to just have this team come out and take care of business. So, yeah, give me the Steelers to win by more than 3.
I like that. I am going to lock up. I'll join you. Let's go. Steelers minus 2.5. Lock it up.
Love it. For my dog, it's a smaller dog. Panthers plus 160. But if you want to have a little fun with it, take the Panthers and the Texans. That's 5-1. So I think both of them got a good shot at winning. So that's who I'm taking for my dog. I know you were on the opposite side there for the Panthers Saints. So who do you like for a dog?
I kind of tease it as the last game, and I don't like it in terms of if it happens, but for the price it's at, I'm seeing New England plus 330, winning your in game at Buffalo. That we saw them win a cold game at Buffalo last year, and I could see New England somehow winning Week 18 because Buffalo's just not ready to play in terms of mentally, but then having to go back to Buffalo in the wild card round and just getting absolutely whacked deja vu like last year. So I'll take the Patriots plus 330. Like I said, don't like it from a moral standpoint, but it's too good to pass up in terms of price wise.
Well, it seems like if somebody's going to do it, it's Belichick, right? I mean, if somebody's going to sneak in with a win, upset win like that, it's him.
Yep. Kitchen sink game for Belichick and Patricia. I tell you, man, if they do make the playoffs, it's got to be the worst playoff. Them or the Steelers. It's like the two worst playoff teams we've ever seen that weren't division winners by default. Like had to beat a bunch of teams to get in wild card wise.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the same New England Patriots that the Chicago Bears blew up by 3 touchdowns on Monday Night Football, everybody.
Absolutely. Maybe I should root for them to win it all because of that. Be like, we beat them.
Hey, maybe you turned around their season too. You guys are the get-right game.
There you go.
J. Mark, before we get up on out of here, tell everybody where to find you, man.
Don't forget our teas.
Oh, God, I'm all over the place. Hey, I'm bitter. My team's on the playoffs. I'm like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Right.
Where you want to go tease wise?
Yeah, so I was looking at bigger lines. So I'm going to tease the Ravens to 14. Going to tease the Patriots to 14.5. And then I'm going to tease the Vikings down to 1.5.
I like that. I'm going to go Jets to 7 or
yeah.
Or no, I got to cross 0 there. They're not a dog. I'll go Colts 8.5. I don't think the Texans will drill them.
No, yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I'll go Bears plus 13.5. Vikings don't blow out anybody. And I like that with New England plus 13.5.
Yep.
So we got some big teasers there. So now, J Mark, tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah, find me on Twitter at JMarkFootball. If you listen to Old Fashioned Football this year, we're still going to have some off-season stuff. We're kind of kicking around some ideas of everything we're going to do with that. But, of course, we will be back next year every week. But, yeah, you can find everything I do basically on Twitter. I put it all there.
No doubt. And yeah, make sure you go check out the Old Fashioned Football. Looking forward to seeing what's in store for 2023 over there on your guys' channel. For me, at Moneyline_Mac, I will be, sorry, I can't talk. I will be on with Rod on Monday to recap the final week 18 of the season. And, of course, the college basketball experience, baby. Every night, go find us. It's entertainment. It's midnight Eastern around that time. So it's entertainment, and it's every single night, and we're giving out winners left and right. So it's going to be a fun college basketball season with only January 3rd, 3 days into 2023, and we have no undefeated teams left.
Yeah. I love when the number 1 seeds, it seems like every year there's some point where every number 1 seed just continuously gets upset. Every time, there's a new number 1, they lost. New number 1, they lost. So I love when that run happens. So I'm looking forward to that.
No doubt. And J Mark, you give out some picks too. I saw you on the leaderboard.
Yeah,
throw a game in there every now and then.
Every now and then I sneak up.
Yeah, there you go. He takes his Hawkeyes or Cyclones.
Yeah.
No,
now that college football is over and NFL is over, I probably will focus more on putting some picks in for college basketball. I started the season and with football, basketball, everything, it was like, okay, I'm going to take a step back here so I can not just throw darts. I can actually evaluate and make some picks. So
it's a sports gambling podcast, man. We cover it all. And and J Mark, you just want to get in there and hop in the chat so that you can give Colby shit for not putting me on the equal screen share.
Every single time. I appreciate you putting me on equal screen here, not having me a little bit in the corner there.
in the little quad box up in the corner there. Yeah. So, all right, everybody, have a great number of week 18. And most importantly, don't forget to let it ride.